talk about the 8 things that you must know before buying the Strymon Cloudbursts. Without further ado, here we go. Okay, number 1, small form factor. This is like the smallest Strymon pedal I think they've ever made. As you see here, it's next to the Flint. It's considerably smaller, 2/3 of the size width-wise, and close to the same, maybe slightly less height-wise. But compared to the Night Sky here, by the way, subscribe if you want to see a review of that. We're working on that. That's gonna take a little bit more time. This is a little bit more complicated pedal. Anyway, as you see, it's like maybe 2.5 starbursts, right? Or cloudbursts. Oh my goodness. It's very pedal board friendly. Our number two fact about the Strymon Cloudburst that you must know, and that is power usage. Now with digital pedals like this, they normally take a lot of power, right? Up to 300, 400, 500 milliamps. Well, with this, and probably thanks to the ARM processor that's in there, this only uses 250 milliamps, which is a decent amount, mind you, but like I said, compared to other digital pedals that can do all the stuff that this can do, or that can do the level of sound that this can do, that is very good from a power usage standpoint. The number 3 thing about the Strymon Cloudburst, and I'll get a picture of this. You're not going to really be able to see it in the pedal cam. Put it up on the screen now. This will actually split a mono signal into stereo. So it's got a switch with 3 positions. The one is just straight up mono. The second switch is a mono to stereo. And so it'll take your mono signal and split it out into stereo. Normally you'd have to have an ABY switch, obviously in the Y setting, to do something like that. That's built right into the pedal, which saves you from having to place this utility pedal on your pedal board. This also has stereo to stereo using TRS jacks. As you can see on the pedal cam here, is that I have a TRS cable going to TRS cable in the Flint. The Flint also has a stereo input as TRS. Number 4, and this may be a downside for you depending on what you're looking for, but there's not a lot of movement in the pedal. So I'll demonstrate. There's a little bit of movement, but there's not a lot of movement. I like to, and the reason the Flint is on here, now I like to combine that with a tremolo. So you hear the, now you can use delay, you can use vibe, you can use a number of different effects to create that, but the Strymon doesn't have that in there, so you'd have to have something afterwards. Now, I actually prefer that because I want to be able to kind of, and then add my movement in. And I like to stack the reverb. I like to put it into a spring just to get a huge sound. You can hear that. So, but there's no movement built in the pedal. So something that is delay-based might have a lot more movement, like the Walrus Audio Fable. Point number 5, we're going to look at sound samples as far as what it works with. So right now we're going into the UA Ruby, then that Ruby is going into the Cloudburst, and then into the Flint. Flint's off right now. We are pretty clean. Let me put this in the middle position. Now let's give this a little bit more gain and see what an overdriven amp sounds like going in. of course, we got the B-Tronics Octave Hive for some fuzz. So let's get this down. We want just a little bit. That's another one. If you want to hear a review of that, hit subscribe. We're going to be talking about this pretty soon. I love this. I love that pedal. Of course, I just spoiled it, so maybe don't subscribe. I don't know. What does it sound like if you're pushing this into an overdriven amp? Now let's find out. All right, we're back, and I have the Cloudburst in front of my studio signature 2 Rock. We're going to get it kind of gained up and see how it sounds into a gained up overdriven amp. So I'm going to have to play pretty hard. Now, here's something I have done live with this pedal, and it sounds pretty good, in my opinion. It sounds pretty awesome, is using this direct in with an acoustic guitar. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that next. All right, now, here's the acoustic guitar via Movie Magic. This is it direct in. We're going stereo. So this is my Takamine. It's got the cool tube set up here. I love this guitar. So this is my main kind of gigging guitar. All right, let's kick on the pedal. See what we got. just adds a nice texture to it. Now that's the pedal alone. Now oftentimes I'll throw another reverb on top, the Flint. Throw some tremolo. Well, it just sounds great on acoustic. Okay, number six. Number six is intuitive controls. This is a very simple pedal to use. Strymon's pretty good at that. Obviously, they have pedals that have a lot of stuff to do. We just saw the Night Sky, which can get pretty complicated. But Strymon does their best to simplify things, and in here, I think it's a highlight. So let's go through the controls here. The first one, we're going to use decay, and that is just how long it lasts. So how long the reverb trail lasts. See how it's just a short burst of reverb, and it just goes away right away. You just get a little accent, but the sustain is just a note playing in the guitar. So let's turn this up a little bit so you can see. Now see the trail's a little bit longer. Now you get a little bit longer trail. Now see how long that trail is. Now here's all the way up. That thing will keep going. Sweet. All right. We could be here forever. The point is you have plenty of range in the decay. And then there's pre-delay. So that is, when does the trail start? So here with 0 pre-delay, it's going to come in right away. See that? Now let's turn that up. Let's turn that pre-delay up. See, there's a little bit of a ramp up there. Okay, now let's go up a little bit more. Get a little bit more space between the note and the reverb trail. See how that swells in? Let's turn it all the way up. Wow, see how late that is? So you have plenty of pre-delay. I like just a little bit to give the fundamental of the note to come through, like right about there. It lets the fundamental of the note through and then the reverb swell in. Okay, next is mix. Again, pretty self-explanatory. So if you turn it all the way here, you got nothing. Nothing. Okay, turn it up, you get a little bit more. Up a little bit more. If you turn it all the way up, you get only the reverb. Now, Strymon says at about 3 o'clock is 50-50. So, say maybe right about here's 50-50. So from here, from 50-50 to everything, there's a little sweep. But again, generally, I like to be right around here. I still want to hear the note that's on the guitar, but just have kind of a pillow of reverb under it. So that's that control. And then the ensemble and the mod control, we're going to save for another point. So we'll get there. But the last is tone, and tone is just, again, controls the high end. So it'll get real dark here. You can hear. See, we're just bringing more high end. Yeah. Let me put that on here. So what's good is on the tone knob, there really isn't even a bad setting. I like to have a little bit of brightness. What you heard in the track, the acoustic guitar part, I had it down to create some just some low-end ambience. One thing I forgot. This does have a jack for an expression pedal, or you can have a freeze pedal. You can get the little Strymon stompy thingy switch. This also can be controlled by MIDI. You can do that by plugging it into the expression pedal thing if you have the breakout to the TRS to MIDI rather. Or you can do MIDI through the USB-C port that is in the back. All right, number 7. Number 7 is Synth Strings. All right, this is really cool. Now, this is where we're going to get into the mod and the ensemble. So right now, the ensemble is off. We're going to click to the first one here, which is mezzo piano. You get that synth string thing going on. And so what this is doing is Strymon said 48 different bands of harmonics are going into creating this tone. So the processor's doing a lot of heavy lifting to give you kind of that synth string, and it tracks really well. See if it follows that. If you play a chord. Polyphonic, it maintains the chord. I really like this. It's one of my favorite features. And then you can control that with the mod button. So we can bring the mod all the way down. This is what you get. So we bring in more modulation, you see it expand. You hear the mod get real stringy, like real. I generally like it about here. That's where you can really get kind of that faux string sound. All right, so that's mezzo piano. Now, if we go to forte, this is what you got. And as the name suggests, it's a much stronger sound. Turn the mod down, see what we get. That's such a cool thing. That is like 80s. It's such an 80s synth sound. It's like if I did this. Hold on. if you wanted to put synth strings in your track, just play one note at a time and let it do its thing. It's such an 80s, right? And then so as we come up, it gets a little more stringy. Obviously, when you play chords, it's more like a string ensemble because you're getting all that harmony. And then we can switch it off, and then we can check out the mod feature here. And this is 100% wet, so you're not getting any of the guitar signal. That sounds like you're like 1,000 leagues under the sea. It's a really cool tone. Number 8 is the price, which of course is like the most important part, right? This is $280, a manufacturer retail, suggested retail price. You might be able to get it a little bit cheaper at your local shop. So it's not the cheapest pedal on the market, but it is absolutely worth it, in my opinion, for just the cool, unique tones. I mean, there are a million ambient pedals. I mean, Walrus Audio is great. They have like, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them. That's a slight exaggeration, but they got a bunch of them and they're all great. There's a lot of cool takes, but this is a really neat take on an ambient pedal. I definitely suggest trying one and see if it fits what you're doing. So if you like this video, go ahead, tap the like button. Remember, it is always about the song.